pressure group Fix the Country and Democracy Hub, along with some environmental activists, have taken the fight to the seat of government to compel the president declare the state of emergency on mining in the country. My colleague Stanley Niblo filed this report a short while ago. We'll hear from him and then we connect with him shortly as well. Let's connect right now with Stanley. That report not readily available right now. Stanley, talk to us. Where exactly is the procession team? What can you report? Stanley, where exactly are you, and where's as the demonstrators, where have they gotten to? Well, it does appear there's a bit of a challenge with connecting with Stanley, but he's been engaging a number of the protesters. Here's what they've been telling us is the basis upon which they are on the streets.
People have decided not to give up. They're continuing to show up and demand more. Those whom the state has taken a lot from continue to show up. And there's nothing more encouraging than that.
Okay, so another one is for the state of emergency. But most of them, should I say, leaders are not
the truth is that we are already in a state of emergency. Galamsey is an emergency. So how we deal with it is what people are calling for. We need to see the tools that deal with the state of emergency, not to call for it. But we're already in it. So how we deal with it must show that we recognize that this is an emergency.
So what do you have to say today? What role do we have to also play?
To be honest, and let's be clear about this. Young people have continued to track. Young people have continued to knock the door. This is not on them, this is on our leaders. So this is not the time to ask young people for answers. The answers must come from those who campaign on the promise of answer. Those who continue to head critical state institutions. Those who are employed while a lot of young people are unemployed. Who have been giving critical institutions, the Minerals Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency. Those institutions are not doing their work. That's what we're asking for. So those who are institutions must work for young people to have faith in this country again.
Okay, so they're also saying that when it comes to the fight of Galamsey, if there is of the chiefs in the local community,
That's Oliver Bakavomo is one of the lead conveners of the Fix the Country and Democracy Hub group. And let's connect again to Stanley Niblo. Hopefully we have a better connection to him this time. Stanley, talk to us about the demonstrators. Where have they gotten to?
So, Mawena, the demonstrators or the protesters are currently at Shangri-La. They moved from the runabout enclave or the Akramo enclave, and they are marching to the Revolutionary Square, where they converged last night to hold a vigil in protest against the destruction of the environment. Yesterday, like I just indicated, was a vigil. Today, which is the day 2, has been scheduled for a march, where when they get to the Revolutionary Square, they will be expected to present a petition to the government. For them, they are thinking that they are seeking a number of issues, but the key amongst the issues that they are seeking the government to address is to declare a state of emergency. They want to amplify their voices, join the cause by the clergy, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, and other environmental activists to tell the government to declare a state of emergency, because they think that already we are there, we are in an emergency situation, and that the government must withdraw or must address the issues, or approach the issues facing the environment with a more sense of urgency, so that the destruction of our environment, such as our water bodies, forest covers, land, and then their adverse effects, health effects on the indigenous or the human beings can be curtailed. So today, the march is ongoing. We started about 10 a.m., but currently we have gotten nowhere. When you get to the ground now, the numbers are not encouraging, but the message that they are sending is very relevant and significant, in that the state or the current state of affairs is not good, and so they want the government to do something about it. Even though the president, when the president addressed the media, met the media during the encounter, he made mention that declaring a state of emergency will be the last resort. But for this group of people, this pressure group, they believe that we are already in we are already at the crossroad. And so the government, it is time the government must do something about the state of emergency to save the rest of the water bodies or to recover the ones that have been destroyed. So I've been speaking with Oliver Baka-Vomawo, who arrived in the country last night, and for him, the government is on the street because he wanted the government to address or approach these issues with a little more urgency.
Right then, Stanley, thank you. We've heard from Oliver already, and so I will continue to monitor us, and when they do get to the Revolutionary Square, we'll connect with you again for details. That's my colleague Stanley Niebler with the Democracy Hub protesters and some ordinary Ghanaians who are making the demand quite simply that the government must put in more efforts as a matter of fact to, amongst many other things, bring an end to the menace of Galamsey. But we know that for months, civil society organizations, they've called on the government to declare a state of emergency in areas affected by illegal mining in what they believe is the best bid to tackle the menace. But the government has hesitated to make such a declaration. Here's the president again explaining why a state of emergency is not the most important step in this Galamsey fight.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The president can't just declare a state of emergency without, going to Parliament, because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey.
That's the president speaking to why a decision to declare state of emergency is not quite the most important. But I want to walk you through the law which explains a declaration of a state of emergency and why it is so important that certain merit or certain things are met before the president can decide upon declaring a state of emergency. If you go into the country's constitution and that living document, it makes room or it creates room for a lot of these things. And that's the reason why civil society groups have been saying that the president is clothed with the powers. He can't declare that state of emergency. Hence, he must be doing it. This is what the constitution says. Article 31 of the 1992 constitution on a declaration of a state of emergency. It reads, and this is quite verbatim, lifted straight from the Constitution, that the President may, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by proclamation published in a gazette, declare that a state of emergency exists in Ghana or in any part of Ghana for the purposes of the provisions of this Constitution. And so it could be on the entirety of the country, and then the demands of civil society, mining specific areas as well. Any part of Ghana, it covers under this. Now, here's a second part, which we're going to just go into, where it explains the basis and the intrinsic details as to when the state of emergency can be declared. And this clause 9 of it, it says as the circumstances under which a state of emergency may be declared under this article include a natural disaster and any situation in which any action is taken or is immediately threatened to be taken by a person or body of persons which A, is calculated or likely to deprive the community of the essentials of life, or B, renders necessary the taking of measures which are required for securing the public safety, the defense of Ghana, and the maintenance of public order and of supplies and services essential to the life of the community. The big question is whether or not these provisions and reasoning, as the framers of the Constitution provided, is readily available in the country's fight against illegal mining. That's a big question. Civil society groups have been asking the president since he revealed that a declaration of a state of emergency was not quite yet the next play, considering that there are still a lot of options available to us as a country in terms of dealing with the fight against illegal mining. I want us to take this conversation up a notch higher. And Kems, you have Darrell Bosu on the telephone lines with you.
Absolutely. Let's engage Darrell Bosu, who is Deputy National Director of Environmental NGO, Arusha, Ghana. And he's also taking part in this vigil or protest, so to speak. Darrell, I appreciate your time this afternoon, but let's look at this. We've seen this before. Nothing much came out of this. What are your expectations after the vigil is over?
Yes, good afternoon to you. And I think that a very important discussion is going on. And whether the vigil or the protest is going well or not, I think Ghanaians are still being reminded that the emergency situation we find ourselves is still with us, and the need to take very decisive actions cannot be underestimated. So for me, I'm looking forward to the coming days, other institutions like UTAG, organized labor, also mobilizing for action, because we need to see the government really do more. I completely do not agree that we are not at a point where we don't need a state of emergency. If you look at the constitutional provisions that has been indicated by your colleague, it clearly shows that when the essentials of life are at risk, and this is where we find ourselves. I mean, the government themselves acknowledge that we are faced with environmental terrorism. They also acknowledge that this is a human security issue. And that means that our essentials of life are at risk, with our food, with our water, and even community well-being, and even security within the community is seriously compromised. So to that extent, I think that there is no reason why the government is dragging its feet when it comes to taking this very important action of invoking a state of emergency in some targeted regions and districts across the country.
I see. So, Darrell, I mean, as long as you're concerned, the conditions we find ourselves in at the moment satisfy, the requirements for calling for a state of emergency, and that we are at that last resort right now, is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, irrespective of the fact that we have certain solutions that we are yet to leverage, I think that does not still stop us from taking these actions a top-notch higher, where we know that, look, if these actions are put in place, this is how we're going to solve the problem. First of all, the government needs to understand that citizens really are expecting a lot of him. There is the goodwill, but if there was really something being done with Galamsey and it's in sufficient action, I don't think that we will be calling already on the government to be more proactive, because right now that's not what we feel. It was only recently that all these uproar by CSOs and all of that led to Gold Board giving some money to NIMOS, which was set up some almost 3 months ago, to try and go out there and deal with Galamsey. 3 months ago. It was only last week. So I think that the government has been sitting down, just watching and letting things get out of hand, and that is what we need to avoid. This government cannot fail us, and we have only 1 year to really deal with it. Otherwise, in the second year, the government gets too comfortable, and then they just start doing all the things that we know every government that gets comfortable in office starts to do. So I think that the government must really act now with much more decisive action than they are doing so far.
But Darrell, explain to us how declaring the state of emergency in these mining communities will help curb the situation or deal with the illegal mining menace.
I think, yes, to respond to that, a state of emergency, as we have been indicating, is a tool available to the state. You can use that tool to circumvent certain bureaucratic systems. For example, we know that excavators are moving day in and day out. The GVLA is saying that, look, they are monitoring, they are licensing excavators. Minerals Commission says they are monitoring some of them. But we also know that the excavators moving day in and day out along police checkpoints almost every time, going to the communities and doing mining. There are certain places in the eastern region where people are mining illegally. And I'm sure you heard about the recent Chebi arrest and all. Not arrest, actually. They went on an action to take Deo Galamsey. There was no arrest, even though we saw excavators in the field, people behind them, and there was no arrest as the report is. So there is something going on. There's a lot of complicity in the system. And if, as a state, you invoke such a higher level of security measure and you do not ensure its enforcement, then it will tell us how the governance system is. And I'm sure the state or the government doesn't want us to get to that point. So they will do whatever it takes to do it. Now we are also being told about the complicity of people connected to the government in power, party officials in many communities. I mean, and it's very worrying. But we are not really seeing the action that is needed. The state of emergency will allow the state to say, look, let's have fast-track courts, excuse me. It's not about going to arrest Galamsey people, wait for 5 years before we prosecute them. Everything is going to be fast-tracked with the necessary measures in place. So I think that there is a lot of opportunity that the state of emergency will compel the state to act. And that is what we are asking for. At the moment, the measures in place are not sufficient enough.
I see. So Daryl,
they are half-hearted. And there's a lot of feet dragging when it comes to the solutions that we are seeing now.
Daryl, how do you suggest government deals with communities who by themselves are fighting the system's own efforts? We've seen that in parts of the eastern region, communities came together to fight off security personnel who were there to ensure that there is no illegal mining going on.
Well, you see, these communities are fighting, but they don't last long. Because eventually the miners take over, they manage to infiltrate the system and get the police or some people in the community, sometimes the traditional authorities, to really challenge even the community people who are really standing up for themselves. So I think it is happening, the communities are doing it, but it is not sustainable until the higher level of impunity is addressed. So for me, I acknowledge we are in the communities, we see what is happening, but the communities are struggling to keep these miners away. And we need a strong arm of the state to help brace the communities and allow them to be able to fight better. Otherwise, it will just happen a day or two. They're able to keep the miners away, but miners will just keep coming over and over again.
Daryl, we'll leave you here for now. Thank you so much for talking to us. Daryl Bosu
it's a pleasure. Thank you
is
so much.
Deputy National Coordinator at Arusha, Ghana. Now we'll go to the eastern region now because calm has returned to Kukurantumi in the Buakwa North municipality of that region after Sunday's clash between residents and the police there over the death of a suspect at the hospital.
To forestall any potential reprisal attack, security personnel have since been deployed to Kukurantumi police station to forestall any potential reprisal attacks and to ensure that law and order are maintained. Tensions flared on Sunday after news broke up of the suspect's death after being arrested to police custody, prompting angry residents to storm the police station in protest. The confrontation escalated quickly, resulting in damage to police property and heightened fear among locals. It took a swift intervention and reinforcement from the Eastern Regional Police Command to restore calm in the area and disperse the agitated crowd.
Let's have a quick chat on the back of this. Rita Kosieje Awate is Eastern Region Minister. She's joining us for a bit more on this. Thank you so much for your time. I believe that as chair of the Regional Security Council, of course, measures you have put in place have led to the restoration of calm. But let's go back into time as to what happened to this suspect. What have you found?
Yeah, good afternoon to you too. Hello?
Indeed, I'll take it again, Rita. I'm asking, as far as RECSEC is concerned, what took place?
Okay, so thank you to the three. A happy holiday to you. I think yesterday we had the information. Personally, I had the information around 9 o'clock that there is a security tension in the Kukurantumi. Briefing given to me was that a suspect was arrested yesterday early in the morning, and through the process, the suspect was refusing arrest. Subsequently, there was tension between them, him and the policeman. That ended them at the hospital, and through that, he lost his life. So tension was mounted in the whole of Kukurantumi area. But with the intervention of the police and other security bodies, the calm has returned to Kukurantumi.
Based on RECSEC's investigations, how did the suspect lose their life?
Can you come back?
How did the suspect die?
We are yet to investigate to really get what happened. According to the briefing I had, there was confrontation between the suspect and the police, and that was what amounted to the death. But we are yet to conduct further investigation to really ascertain what it was.
Obviously, you have a security situation on hand. We hear that calm has returned. But what measures are you putting in place to ensure that the community members who are seeking justice for the deaths of their friend or relative get the justice they need, but at the same time also you keep the peace in Kukurantumi?
Yesterday, the police commander, other policemen, and the security coordinator for Eastern Region, we visited the family yesterday. We spoke at length, and we assured them of government's commitment to investigate and really find out what caused the death of their beloved son. As a minister, I'm ready to support whatever government has promised the people, that we are going to follow up to investigate and find out what happened. We spoke at length with the family and also calmed down the youth of the area. We really assured them of government commitment to follow up on what really happened. The body of the late young man has been deposited at the morgue while waiting for further medical investigation.
I see. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Rita Akosiawate is Eastern Region Minister.
Now, residents of Tamale have embarked on a demonstration to protest against the sale of opioid and other illicit drugs in the metropolis. The demonstrators are also demanding the security forces and government intensify the campaign and fight against drug abuse. Tamale has become a hub of opioid trafficking in Ghana, with the majority of the youth engaged in the trade and usage of drugs. My colleague Christopher Marco was part of the demonstration, joining us right now with a bit more in terms of updates. Christopher, talk to us. How did it all go in terms of this protest?
Yeah, so Marwin, I can say that it went well because the protesters have been able to drum home their message of ensuring that the stakeholders in the greater Tamale metropolis support the fight against the sale and usage of illicit drugs in the greater Tamale metropolis. Now, all they are seeking to say and get the attention of stakeholders is that it is not just only about using the drugs. People sell the drugs to the users. How does the drug get into the Tamale metropolis and the region at large? And so that is exactly what they want the security services, they want the RECSEC and other bodies to join them to fight. You remember that in recent past, just some few weeks ago, a certain drug lord in the greater Tamale metropolis, Alhaji Sawiti, was arrested and taken to court. And so they are saying that if they are able to fish out these peddlers in the greater Tamale metropolis, it will go a long way to ensuring that they are able to curb the influx of drugs into the northern region, specifically in the greater Tamale metropolis.
Right. Chris, let's hear from some of the demonstrators first. Then I'll come to you as to what the response of authorities have been to these demands.
But it's a demonstration not on government, but demonstration on the people who are selling the tramadol. And this now we're calling in the help of the government because of certain things. The 3 northern region, we don't have a rehabilitation center in northern region. Secondly, there's no bylaw that will guide us which is we are in Tamale. We need a bylaw. Because you see now, you don't know the houses who are taking or who are selling. These kids are just taking tramadol like crazy. And the people think that they are making market down here. Because of what? They think that the Muslims always condemn alcohol. But the new ways to bring them in addiction, they use tramadol to, you know, pull them down. And these guys are, they think that it's just something you got to take. They call it medication. It's not medication. It's killing them every day. So we beg the government to do something about it because the people who are selling it is now afraid. But what is the solution we are giving to people who are already addicted to those drugs? That's the more problem. So that's where we call on government to do what? Firstly, help us on rehabilitation center. That's what we need first. Secondly, and put a bylaw. That's what can, you know, protect the kids in Tamale. But let me tell you something. I thank all the stakeholders, their opportunity they have given, especially the media, the schools, the whatever.
Chris, let's stay on the responses. We know there's been a task force and a committee which has been set up to deal with the challenges of opioid abuse in the north. Did they receive a petition? What is their response as well?
Yes, so Marina, first of all, we know that the office of the National Security Liaison Officer has been doing a lot in the region, engaging the anti-drug task force. And so they have come out strongly to say that already they have put plans in place to ensure that these people are arrested and also brought to book. The Narcotics Control Commission, as well as other agencies within the government structure, have also been supportive. And yesterday, before the demonstration, the office of the National Security Liaison Officer has indicated that his office is ready to assist them either with resources to be able to go into the various districts and areas to be able to clamp down on the sale and usage of these illicit drugs.
Right then, Chris, as always, thank you very much for those details. Christopher Marco is my colleague in the Savannah region and the northern region for us this afternoon on that protest by indigenous residents of Tamale demanding an end to opioid abuse. Let's hear as well from the Security Liaison Officer Christopher mentioned. Oh, we'll bring you that later on. Well, a former director of the Ghana School of Law, Kukurantumi, says government should not abolish the Ghana School of Law as part of the proposed reforms to legal education. A proposed legal education bill currently under consideration aims to decentralize professional legal training by allowing accredited law faculties to offer a one-year bar practice program. And Sasari proposed converting the GSL into a postgraduate institution.
From the grapevine, we are hearing that the reforms will, terminate with the scrapping of the Ghana School of Law. I don't think that is something that should even creep into our minds. The Ghana School of Law was the first to be established in sub-Saharan Africa, and that has remained Ghana's pride since it was established on 20th November 1958. To call for its scrapping or abolition as part of the legal reforms would be unfortunate. And I don't think that it is a step in the right direction. If we don't know what to do with the institution, my suggestion is that it should be transformed or upgraded into a postgraduate training school. So we can designate it as the University of the Law, or Ghana maintain the name Ghana School of Law, but let it train our lawyers, our judges, provide continuing legal education.
The Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana is urging a revival of his 40-year National Accelerated Development Plan. In a statement to mark Founders Day, the Chamber highlighted Nkrumah's integrated vision for agro-industrial transformation, including agro-processing, supporting industries and critical infrastructure like energy and logistics. The Chamber also called on government to adopt a modern public-private driven framework to drive inclusive growth, boost investment, and build sustainable agro-industrial cluster for long-term national development. Anthony Kofitu Morrison is Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber. He's joining us with, for a bit more on this story. Now, why is this 40-year plan relevant and important to us at this time, in the lifespan of the country?
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. We are celebrating a man of vision, an African man of the century. It's very important for us to contextualize our current situation and challenges and where we want to be as a country. If you take a critical look at the Kwame Nkrumah's vision of 40-year accelerated economic development plan, it was done in a way to provide a holistic support anchored on agriculture. What we are saying is that as a country, the 40-year development plan is still very relevant, but we need to make it more or modernize it in a sense that it helps address the new areas of technological advancement, mega agro-industrialization, and this is where we need to be as a country. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah has done a lot. You have seen or may have witnessed some of the projects that he has done. It's very strategic, and we look at it in a sense that if you take His Excellency President John Dramani Mahamad's program, which is looking at the economic corridor of the Volta Lake, that is very critical. A lot of industrialized countries have industrialized on the basis of availability of water. You can talk of Netherlands, Japan, Egypt, which is Alexandria, even Ethiopia. So we need to harness the importance of water and see how we can anchor that water bodies into our accelerated economic development. And we think that a better focus on agro-industrialization is the way to go.
I see. And if government were to implement that, what practical steps could the government take at this time?
We at the Chamber see the 24-hour economy as critical. However, we have also taken note of the fact that the 24-hour economy secretariat will not be an authority. We want to propose that we become more intentional in the sense that the 24-hour economy authority, which will come or will be better, will focus on industrialization of the agriculture sector. We need a one-stop shop authority that promotes agro-industrialization, that takes out all the nuances of the ease of doing business so that the agro-industrialization agenda we want to push will become very possible. For instance, if you are doing agro processing, you are going to work within no less than 5 to 6 ministries of government. You will be interfacing with over 15 agencies of government. What we are saying is that we want a one-stop shop. We want a system that facilitates and makes it easy for people to do business. It's quite difficult. Over the past 4 years as a country, we have lost quite a number of factories and industries to the likes of Benin, Ivory Coast, and Nigeria.
I see.
We want to become an agro-industrial hub in West Africa. we must be intentional and clear about it.
Farrell, Anthony, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Anthony Kofituo Morris is with the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana. You're still here on News Central. We'll take a quick break. We'll return with more news. Don't go away.
This afternoon, we're learning the National Identification Authority may not have survived if it relied solely on government funding due to delays in procurement and limited resources. Executive Secretary of the NIA, Wisdom Kwekudeku, says the involvement of a private partner has been critical in keeping operations running smoothly. He spoke on hot issues.
I'll say yes and no, because trust me, if it was to be government that was funding this NIA project, by now NIA will have collapsed. Because, for example, a switch get bent, you need it urgently to repair it. But I know government and our procurement processes, you need to go through a lot of procurement processes before you can buy it. But because a private person has come in there, he wants the things to go so that he can get his money back. So he will quickly move in to get the things done. I remember they said, I was not there though, but there was a time that our generators all went off, our backup generators. It took the private, even though it's the responsibility of NIA to do it, the private person has to step in to do all those things for us. So it's a good and bad thing. I think what should have done was that should have sat down very well and look at the revenue model. Because if you look at the revenue model, for example, the SIM card registration was part of the revenue model. But when you got there, you know the SIM card registration, they were not verified from NIA system. So the money that was supposed to come to NIA, it didn't come.
The Executive Secretary also told me on hot issues that about 18.9 million Ghanaians aged 15 and above have so far been registered.
That government of Ghana is a signatory to it. It says that by 2030, identity registration, legal identity should be given to everybody, including birth registration by 2030. So we've done 15 years and above, that is the adulthood. We've done close to 84% of it, because as at the time we started the registration, the total was about 19.6 million. And as we speak now, we are close to 19 million. We've registered 18.9 million Ghanaians now. So
18.9?
Yes, we've registered 18.9 million Ghanaians now. So it's left with those below the 15 years, 6 to 14 years, and the 0 to 5. So we are hoping that by close of next year, the 6 to 14, we are estimating to register by 6.9 million people. And we hope to achieve that next year. In fact, last year, they started the registration too. That also suffered some technical glitches. So they couldn't issue the cards to them instantly. Luckily, we've been able to print all the 370,000 cards. And on the 23rd, we are going back to the districts to issue the cards to them.
Now, government is set to reintroduce cultural studies into the national curriculum as part of efforts to preserve the country's heritage and identity in an era where globalization threatens to erode traditional values. Tourism and Creative Arts Minister Abla Jifagoma, she says the move will help young people appreciate their roots in their early years.
The motivation for government to want to reintroduce culture into our curriculum is because the world has become a small place. It's a global village now. And if we don't take steps to inculcate appreciation of our heritage and our culture and our children at a very young age, we risk losing them to the world without preparing them adequately. As you will testify yourself, culture and the creative space and tourism lends itself for many people to find a vocation in the whole value chain. And so if we reintroduce it into the curriculum as it was when I was growing up, we are certain that we will raise more culturally savvy young people to be ambassadors and be patriotic citizens for our country. So government is really putting its money where its mouth is to ensure that we don't wait for people to discover who they are when they are old. When we do that, the unfettered appreciation for other people's cultures take over. And if you don't love your country, who is going to love it?
Right now, let's bring you Regional Hub.
In in the Bono East region, residents are calling for government action to tackle the deteriorating state of some inner roads in that region. While the government has recently initiated road construction projects in the region as part of the Big Push agenda, crucial inner roads in some parts of the region, the lifelines of the agricultural economy, have been neglected. Correspondent Belinda Tete has filed the following report.
The Bono East region is the agricultural heartland of Ghana, with farming as the primary source of income. However, the poor road infrastructure is crippling the sector. According to the World Food Programme, Ghana loses $1.9 billion annually to post-harvest losses. And a 2023 survey by the Food and Agriculture Organization says approximately 14% of the world's food is lost before it even reaches the consumer, with figures in developing regions rising to nearly 40%. Farmers in places like Ofuman and Kranka struggle to transport their produce to the major markets in Techiman. The journey is not only longer, but also far more expensive. In some cases, farmers watch helplessly as their harvest spoils in the farm because no vehicle can navigate the treacherous routes to pick it up. Because of the nature of the route, when you're done harvesting, getting it to the market is another issue. On days that we are not lucky, the trucks carrying your goods will somersault and fall, and all your goods will end up getting crushed. And on rainy days, we would have to leave the goods in the farm to rot. These costs are often passed on to farmers, who are forced to sell their produce at a loss. The roads, which are mostly bumpy, pothole-riddled, damages vehicles, leading to frequent breakdowns and increased maintenance costs for drivers.
Yes, papers, particularly your bearings and whatever.
Whenever I come to this area, every 1 week I have to change a bearing or something has to spoil for me to fix. Beyond the economic fallout, the poor roads are impacting daily life in these communities. The road is so bumpy that when you tell a car to come pick you up, the driver will tell you bluntly they will not come. During the rainy season, some roads become terribly slopey. Equally, during the dry season, the dust from the untarred roads also poses a serious health risk, leading to respiratory illnesses among residents.
Well, especially when it rains, so our people find it difficult to go to the market.
Because the road is not hard, you have so much dust emanating from the dust road. So you inhale the dust, it brings health implications.
The lack of proper infrastructure also discourages potential investors who see the difficulty in transporting goods and services. This further hinders the region's development and perpetuates a cycle of poverty.
Business thrives well when we have link roads leading to various towns.
Farmers from neighboring communities bring their produce here, but our roads are mostly in a terrible state. Our community has expanded, and due to the market, visitors are always coming in and out of this town. But most of our town roads are in a bad state, and so we plead for intervention. While government efforts to improve some major roads in the Bono East region are commendable, the focus has not been on the most critical inner roads that directly supports the agricultural value chain. The president recently commissioned the construction of some key road networks as part of the Big Push agenda.
As I speak now, 70-kilometer road has been approved. We have contractor on site. So we are just done with the salt cutting, and project or work is going to commence it takes effect immediately after this salt cutting.
But there seemed to be an oversight on Town Road. This is a major threat to the foundation of the local economy. The government decision to cut salt for major construction is a step in the right direction, but the people of Kranka, Mateso, and Ofuman believe that their roads should also be a priority. The situation in the Bono East region highlights the importance of investing in Sustainable Development Goal 2, which aims to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture by 2030. One thing we must realize is that proper road network is a key enabler for this goal, as they facilitate the movement of food from farms to markets, reducing post-harvest losses and ensuring food security. Without a deliberate effort to address the inner road crisis, the hard work of farmers in the region will go unrewarded as they continuously lose millions of Ghana cedis to post-harvest losses.
Now, the Ahafo Regional Director of Health, Dr. Akosua Jewa-Sapon, has revealed a sharp rise in HIV cases. According to the Regional Health Director, the region has seen an increase in HIV cases from 519 in the first half of 2024 to 636 in the first half of 2025.
And we want to go back to the HIV prevention measures that we used to talk about. We want to talk about abstinence, be faithful to pattern, and use of condom to limit the transmission. Additionally, there are a lot of HIV interventions in all our health facilities. And these interventions are prevention or elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, where all pregnant women that come to our health facilities are tested for HIV. Those that are positive are linked or put into care, and they are followed up until they deliver. There's 636 new HIV infections. And what is of great concern to us is the infection among the adolescents. 14% of these infections are among the adolescents.
Let's take you right now to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. That's where the 3FM Afro Connect is happening right now. And my colleague Noura is stationed there. A lot of fun activities expected, a day set aside to unite the continent of Africa. Noura, if you can hear me, what can you report?
Today, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is the place to be, and so if you're watching us right now, you should make your way to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park for 3FM's Afro Connect. Now today it's going to be packed with lots of events and activities. We have several business booths and exhibitions currently underway. So many people are trooping in here with their parents, their wards. They're coming from all walks of life, different African countries, to this place to experience Africa connecting. Now, this day is a national holiday, and it's to celebrate and commemorate a man who had a vision, a man who dreamed of uniting and connecting African countries together as one. And so today we're here to do just that. And we have jollof wars happening. We have different businesses coming to sell their goods and to market their businesses. We have a stage being set up for the Kwame Nkrumah Night Concert, which will be happening later this evening. The scenery is absolutely beautiful. We have the waterfall on, we have several artwork on display, and we have the jollof wars happening, and this jollof war is intense at the moment as we speak. We have several countries participating. We have the likes of the motherland, Ghana. We have Nigeria. We have Gabon, Senegal, what have you. Now let's go right into the motherland's booth and talk to the chefs who are yet to begin cooking. But we just want to, first of all, what's your name?
I'm Kwame Sage.
Okay, and Kwame Sage, I think, was from PM Extra? Yes. Right, wonderful. So this is Team Ghana. This is Team Ghana. Okay, tell us about what you're going to do today.
Today we are going to give you authentic Ghanaian jollof. We are bringing a twist. We don't want to give you like that ordinary Ghanaian jollof, but we want to add more spice and that thing.
And what would you say to the other countries competing?
Oh, I don't see any competition. Come on. This is Ghanaian. We own jollof. Okay. I mean, it's from some country, but we make it the best. So, yeah. Yeah.
We'll hold you on to that later. Now, let's quickly move to Nigeria. Hello, Nigeria. How Nabi now? Okay, so you are yet to begin, but we just want to find out how you are going to go about this jollof war. Do you think you can beat Ghana and all the other countries here?
By the grace of God. By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. So you're confident that you'll be winning this war?
Yes, I will win them this year.
Would hold you on to that. We'll be right back. Let's move on to Benin. They are dressed beautifully. Now, Ghana and Nigeria have just told me they are winning this jollof war. What do you have to say about that?
Yes. Whether we win, we don't talk, we are going to win. And whether we win or not, sure. Whether we win or not, we are here. We are an African.
Oh. Beautiful. Now, okay, so this is Benin. Yeah. Benin. Yeah. And they are also confident that you're winning, right? Sure. Okay. Now, we are yet to witness this jollof war actually happen, and we have members of the GEPA coming to have a panel discussion to talk about exports and imports and how SMEs can grow their businesses. And we have several people who are also here. Let's move on to the next stall now. Ivory Coast. Okay, our neighbors. How are you?
We are fine.
And are you confident you're winning this jollof war?
Very confident. And we know all the product, and I think.
So you think with Gino's products you're able to cook wonderful jollof for us to taste?
The best.
The best. Okay. Now let's move on to the next country, Senegal. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, with this jollof war, the countries I've spoken to so far are telling me that they will be winning and their jollof is the best. And considering that jollof is from your country, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, Senegal is, jollof is from my country. The Senegal, they know how to cook it, they cook it. Really, jollof is from Senegal.
So you're confident that you're winning?
Inshallah.
Okay, we'll come back and taste and make sure that we find out if your jollof is the best. Now let's move on to Gambia. You're looking resplendent this afternoon.
You too.
And now the Gambia is participating in the jollof war. And they're using products from Gino. And, they'll be cleaning with Everpack and, giving us some sumptuous jollof. Isn't that right?
That's good. And we are bringing nothing but the best this year. And I'm rest assured that we are winning this year and we are taking the prize home.
You said this year, so you participated last year?
Yes, please.
Okay, and how did it go?
It went on well, but I'm hoping this one goes better this year. I'm rest assured we are winning and we are taking the prize home.
Wonderful. Now, all the countries I've spoken to so far are telling us that they are confident they will be winning the jollof war. Well, we would only have to wait to see which country eventually emerges the winner of this battle. My name is Noura Mohammed, and this is 3FM's Afro Connect. Make your way and join us.
Thank you very much. Afro Connect, if you haven't eaten the entirety of today, the sheer numbers alone, more than 5 countries cooking jollof, there'll be more than enough for you to go and have a taste. Kems?
Yeah, we'll be headed there to eat some jollof for lunch today. Anyway, now the Ghana Premier League is home on TV3 every week. TV3 gives you 3 live GPL matches, the biggest games, the fiercest rivalries, and the brightest stars brought straight to your screens with world-class coverage. But that's not all. We set the stage with our GPL preview show, giving you the inside scoop and expert analysis. And when the final whistle blows, we keep you covered with our highlights and review program, so you never miss a goal, a save, or a talking point. For the fans who love to stay connected on the go, we have reels and updates on our social media handles. You should check that out. This is more than just coverage. This is TV3 positioning the Ghana Premier League as a premium sports product. Do we have some matches coming up today?
Yes. I suspect we have a game at 7 p.m. today, and so you can look out for that. But that's our package for you today. I am Mawin Agbeta.
And I am Kemini Amano. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Holiday? Just one.
Just one, yes, just one.
Maybe,
you want to?
Maybe you could. A few more?
You want to? Everybody wants. You want to?
It won't be a bad idea, right? But
Anyways.
Go to Afro Connect and
Absolutely.
enjoy yourself. Bye-bye from us.
You don't want...